Hello, Colleen.
Hey there.
Did you screw? Did you get screwed? Okay.
Yeah, I taped the microphone. I was poking around with a little tiny screw that holds the little cap thing on here, but I couldn't find it, so I grabbed a piece of tape.
I noticed that you were up and running, and yeah, how you lost your screw, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'll have to poke around later. It's too much work.
Yes.
Tape was easier. Tape was 4 feet to my right.
Okay, so this is pretty interesting in light of all the things we're hearing coming out of, well, not just Me Too, but particularly Hollywood. So the SAG-AFTRA union, which is, of course, the Screen Actors Guild, and I don't know what AFTRA stands for, but it's
I have no idea.
America.
Now I got to know. Damn it. I'll look it up later. Okay, but we know you.
They are responding to help eliminate sexual harassment on movie sets. So there's a new position called intimacy coordinator.
You know,
Have you heard about this?
I saw this, and I think it makes a lot of sense because you've got folks that teach you how to sword fight, and you've got folks that teach you how to roll when you're doing a stunt or stuff like that. You have folks that help you with your accents. You have folks that put your hair, everything about it you've got help with. But you're just supposed to put two people that have never met together in a role, and they're supposed to pretend to have sex or be intimate or stuff like that. And a lot of roles have been women, and if the role is a violent one, what's going on here? How is that going through there? It's, and in the past, the reason it exists is that people they haven't told folks what's going on, or they'll tell one actor to do something but not tell the other actor, and then there's stuff going on. It's it's been a little, it could be a little weird and scary and inappropriate. So why not have the same amount of information going into a sex scene that you would in a fight?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and so basically, this code that they've adopted gives a framework for the use of these intimacy coordinators whose job is to manage the planning, prep, and performance of sex scenes or scenes involving nudity to ensure safety and comfort of the actors involved, kind of like what you just said, a stunt coordinator. So you were exactly right on track. And so the SAG-AFTRA president is Gabrielle Carteris. She said, ideally this is something the entire industry will adopt as a whole. But, they've had pushback. A lot of people were like, well, I don't know.
I'm sure they had pushback when someone was there to make sure that the squirrel in the commercial was what was being taken care of too. So if you can take care of the damn squirrel, you can take care of the two people. They're going to be nude in front of like 50 people.
Right. Right. She says, at any given time we have over 1,000 shows in production and we don't have enough intimacy coordinators. So it's kind of interesting. They've got to have backgrounds in psychology and emotional support, and it's kind of an interesting background.
Well, there's some job opportunities. I'm sure that you can intern with someone that's there or work with, more than likely. I mean, I can see the film schools out there creating coursework in this. Going through, that would certainly make sense.
Yeah, kind of interesting. So somebody, how they actually did this, I think is probably very much, invasion of privacy. You'll understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
There's somebody called Mr. Man, and it's a thing called Mr. Man, I should say. It's a database for male celebrity nude scenes. A database, okay? And so they have put together a list of the 10 smallest penises in Hollywood. Now, you rarely see the full frontal men.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how would you even...
It's the still shots from the set, which means that somebody is betraying...
See, this is exactly why we need the
an
previous
intimacy
story
coordinator.
Yeah, the fact that, I don't care who you are, you do not... I mean, taking a picture of someone when they are vulnerable like that is completely and utterly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to read you the list anyway.
Okay.
Experts at the website viewed 8,000 full frontal scenes before announcing the 10 tiniest and 10 biggest stars in Tinseltown. So Jude Law is on the list of smallest. Leonardo DiCaprio joins him. British star Tom Hardy made the list. And Shia LaBeouf. And then let's see, Dennis Hopper, Kevin Heffernan, Eric Stoltz, and Jeffrey Rush. On the other end,
I'm trying to figure out what movies these people would have been nude on site for. But I mean, because I know they've got. I mean, I know that you can go online. I mean, wasn't that the premise of one of the a movie once where they wanted to make a film? A database sign for like when the nudity or sex scenes are or boobs are in movies or something like that?
I guess. It's probably like the Rotten Tomatoes of penis sizes. On the other end of the spectrum, the big penis list, we have Colin Farrell, Ewan McGregor, Liam Neeson, Ben Affleck, Robert De Niro. I'm like, maybe I've been watching the wrong movies because I'm like, I have no idea what movies these folks would have been nude in. They never show them. So I don't know how they...
The only thing I can think of is that when someone is getting to and from a bed scene...
That's what I was
thinking. And there's going to be a hip that is...
Which is nefarious.
Yeah, that is highly going through there. I mean, I think a lot of these folks... None of this stuff was particularly known. People rumor about that. I mean, if I was to Google any of these guys and say penis size, this site would probably come up way low, and then it would come up because people like to talk about that as much as I like to talk about boobs.
Yes, absolutely.
Just going through there. Mm-hmm. But I would certainly, and I'm not sure because I mean, if you could prosecute, because who knows? You're not going to know at this point who took the damn picture. It's going through there, but there are, and obviously all the folks are over 18, so you're not going to be able to use those laws. No, that's if that ran across anywhere on my site, I would certainly probably mark it as inappropriate for female. Yeah,
for absolute sure, absolute for sure. Okay, if you're going to go to the Philippines. I'm sure there's lots to do there. I would like to visit someday. But if you get caught having sex on a beach,
okay, I'm pretty sure that's not allowed. I'm just guessing.
It's not. And when the cops are standing over you and telling you, okay, stop, you need to go ahead and stop. And then when they put you in the car, you can't paw each other all the way to the station. And do not try to continue fucking when you get to the jail.
How much alcohol was involved?
A lot.
Okay. What I find fascinating is that if you have that much alcohol that you are that mentally impaired, how can you physically still manage the act of sex?
I don't know.
The two things make no sense to me whatsoever. Oh my God. I mean, I don't think that sex is obviously that's wrong or bad or evil. But there are appropriate places for that, and I'm pretty sure public beach is not one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go places in the world that have private beaches for folks that like to do stuff like that.
For sure.
I mean, Jamaica, it's, oh my God, the hedonism resorts. My brother accidentally went to one. It was hilarious.
Really?
And there are people having sex all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, friends, someone couldn't go, and so he said, this is long before 9/11, so you could easily transfer tickets.
But the charge is hysterical. I got to read you the charge. Hold on, what was it? And there were families on the beach.
Yeah.
And everything was visible and fully exposed. And let's see, they were, grave scandal. Grave scandal was the charge. And then the guy and he's Australian, he got also charged with disobedience to a person in authority after attempting to take off. So grave, yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. Grave scandal and obedience.
That does not help also the stereotype that Australians can pack away the booze.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
going on vacation soon with friends, and my phone was just exploding with the fact that folks have purchased more bikinis and then swimsuit cover-ups, and it's going through there. And then the Land's End, which I adore, has a new catalog out. So I'm like, la 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 la. I got plenty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got your. Are you basically all ready? I mean, if you got.
Oh yeah, I haven't actually pulled out the suitcase. Other folks have, but I mentally. I mean, I've. It's not like it's my first vacation to Mexico, so I know exactly what I'm going to bring and going through there. And I overpack because
I always overpack.
For a couple of ones. One, I'm really sweaty. Thanks, Dad. I'm just a sweaty person. You know?
Okay.
Two, I tend to wear my food.
Oh, okay.
I'm also a messy person. And we talked about it before. Occasionally, I have, I've coughed out my, bladder muscles. So I got this. So there's a lot of clothing that I bring.
Yeah.
But mainly because I honestly rarely get through a meal. Well, Freudian there.
Wow, that was Freudian.
Yeah. Without wearing some food.
Awesome.
It's just, I don't know how I manage this.
I
don't think I don't chew with my mouth open that I know of. I don't think there's loud smacking sounds. But
I'm a dribbler.
But occasionally there's just gravity. There'll be like food on a utensil, and then suddenly the food is not on the utensil or in my mouth, and I don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, mind you, for eating some like noodle soup, pho, stuff like that, things splash. I don't.
I think pho is awesome, but it's really hard to eat.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying. I've been watching other folks because they've got like this the spoon in the left hand and the chopsticks in the right hand, and it's perfectly fine to lift up the bowl and do all that sort of stuff. I know this,
but I splash.
Oh, there's stuff all over it. Yeah.
But I love pho.
Oh yeah, I mean, just sometimes the weather you're just like, I know. Now we're good.
Now I want some pho.
Now we're gonna have to go to like Kwan or something, but they're closed on Tuesday.
God. Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Oh, their new remodel is really lovely, by the way.
Really? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, next time let's do that.
Okay.
So Madonna, haven't heard a ton from her.
No, yeah. What is she up to?
Well, she's got a new show that she's doing. It's called Madam X. It's a stage show.
Well, where? Is she traveling with it?
Yes.
Is she Vegasing it? Doing one of those?
She's not in residence in Vegas.
Yeah, there you go. I'm like, what?
I knew what you meant. Yep.
Through there. Mm-hmm.
She was on a first of a 14-night stint at the Palladium. She's already performed in the U.S. and Lisbon.
Portugal, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Portugal is beautiful, and you want to drink all the wine. I'm allergic to it now. I can't. But
really good wine?
Oh, the white wine, the fresh wine from Portugal is delicious.
Okay, it's on my list.
Yeah.
But she's in the London area right now. Mm-hmm. And so it's called Madam X. And she says she's basically never been with a guy with a small dick. I guess it's a talking and a singing and a dancing and a whatever. She says, she asked the audience, she said, what do you call a man with a small penis? The answer is, I wouldn't fucking know. I've never been with a guy with a small dick. And then she goes on to say, size matters. Don't pretend it doesn't. It's a 2-hour, 10-minute show. She makes other outrageous things. This reminds me of that era she went through when she did the sex book.
Yeah, which I thought was fascinating because I'm like, okay, I'm jaded. I mean, at the time when that was going on, we actually had a much larger bondage collection at our Fridley store. We had a separate little area. There was a lot of stuff from Germany, rubber, latex, larger pieces, hoods, stuff that I think we're a little bit before our time. I mean, it did okay, but it didn't do the best thing. And then with the advent of the internet, people just buy exactly what they want. When you are rubber, latex, leather, that sort of fetish, these things are not cheap, and people want exactly what they want. And there are plenty of places that do things exactly to a custom order, which I get, stuff like
sure.
that. And I actually, like I said, jaded at the time, but I didn't find anything particularly thrilling about her book. But
I never saw it. Do you know that I never dang saw that?
And I even felt I'm not sure who she actually had doing the photos.
Really?
But I also felt that the photos could have been done better. I mean, it's just the weirdest thing. But so now she's at a show and she's done. Is it supposed to be shocking that a 60-plus-year-old woman's talking about sex?
She's 61.
61.
Yeah, I think she does a little dancing. She does a little singing. But like, here's one where she talks about, they say the eyes are the window to the soul, but there's another more important window. And she opens her legs as Mozart starts to play. And she goes, "That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's like to have Mozart come out of your pussy." I mean, I don't know. I think she went pretty far strange years ago and then kind of came back mainstream again. And I think she's going down another one of her paths.
And I think it's, honestly, if these are some of the quotes, I think it's a lot of been there, done that. There's a lot. I mean, I think, honestly, that J-Lo, did a better job at being, I'll say, for lack of a better term right now, a mature woman or an adult female who is proud of her body and the fact that she has sex and she knows how to move and do all these things.
Yeah.
Than this. Although, I'm like I said, I've got little blurbs here, but this does not. And we're also talking about Europe too, where there's just the mores about sexuality are certainly a lot freer than they still are here in the United States.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, it might be funny if you were there, but like some of this just seems vulgar for the sake of so being.
Yeah, and then there's a whole thing. It's a 2-hour show, so we don't know if a lot of this. I mean, people take stuff out of context all the time now.
Yeah.
It's the joy of our current internet. And blurbs, so you don't really know what the context is. Maybe this part is the part where she makes fun of older ideas.
Yeah,
and moves on. But if that's where she stays, I can't. Yeah, it sounds a little tired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But she has canceled 10 performances over the last 4 months due to chronic hip and knee pain. Mm-hmm. And I bet from all the years of dancing in heels and whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I know she's fallen. There's been injuries. You cannot work yourself the way she does. I'm surprised she hasn't had a hip or a knee replacement at this point.
Yeah, she's worked herself hard over the years.
Yeah, I mean, there's, not saying that she's not a savvy, to some extent savvy businesswoman and doesn't work her ass off. Mm-hmm. And obviously at this point her hip and knee off. Mm-hmm. But I'm surprised she hasn't taken the time to do that. But then again, it's scary.
Yeah.
He may not be at the point, where it's going to do that, but.
Well, I mean, you hear different stories about such things, but one of my good friends is a lifelong athlete,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not a professional or anything, but just she comes from a very athletic family, and she had a hip replacement, like I want to say in let's say February of one year, mm-hmm. and ran the New York Marathon in the November of the same year. And this woman was well over 50.
Yeah. The thing is that folks that are athletic beforehand, the reason that they're getting these things, I mean, a lot of times folks waited until they were 60s, 70s, 80s before they had replacements. I have family members that have had, my brother had his hips replaced. He's younger than me, but he wants to continue doing the things that he's doing.
Right.
Friends in their 40s that had knee replacements because of sports injuries, and they're willing to do them now. And the technology is a lot better than it was even 20 years ago.
Oh, for sure.
So folk, these parts are going to last longer, and then they're going to stay, because they're moving, they're going to stay healthier. So when they finally do wear out and they need their second ones in their 80s, I think everyone's going to do just fine. And who knows, 20 years from now, what the technology will be on replacement, which is handy, because if my knees and hips keep going, obviously arthritis runs in our family. I don't have it yet, but that doesn't mean I may not get it in 20 years.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Arthritis is very, very insidious.
Yeah, because I looked up on our website. I'm pretty sure I looked up a website for arthritis and better sex positions and different things.
Oh, wow.
Because people still want to have sex too.
Yes, they do.
Let's go through there. And pain can really, you have to work your way around that, talk a lot.
Yes.
It's going through there.
Yes.
So maybe this is a show about how to have sex with pain.
For sure.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, here's something I need to know if you've heard of.
Okay.
Have you heard of a sex toy called Tracy's Dog?
No, that's no.
It's an interesting name, isn't it?
I'm not sure I want to go there, but okay.
Okay.
Yeah, what do we got?
Well, it's not a dog type of a thing. Okay, so don't worry about that. And there are no dogs.
So they haven't made a little masturbator that looks like a dog.
And right, nor has there been any pet shaming, humiliation, or exploitation in the using of this sex toy. It's just the name of it, which is
okay. Where are we going?
Okay, so it's a different kind of a vibrator. Here's the product description. Clitoral stimulator with suction and 10 vibration patterns
that's exactly what the Satisfier
sucking and pulsing against the clitoris at one side, the opposite slips into the vagina and comes to rest along the G-spot and sensitive surrounding tissue, ranging from soft and gentle to fast and hard. It's a silicone shaft.
I can't think of the name of it right now, and I know I have something like that in the store right now.
Yeah. Okay. This is a retail for like $49. Does that sound about right? I would think that would be more expensive.
No, that's that's not gonna be right, because you've got if it's rechargeable right there, that ranks up the price. If you got a decent silicone, that's gonna up the price. If you're molding something in that many shapes, there's a lot of defects and stuff like that, so they got to toss them. Mm-hmm. So sort of like, so I honestly would not trust something that said it did all that for $49.
Well, and there was a note that this one was sold on Amazon, so I bet you.
That's a knockoff,
right?
I'll tell
exactly.
you right now, that's a knockoff of a reputable company. I can tell you that right now.
Yep, and that's not good. I got to read you one of the reviews though, because it made me laugh so hard when I saw this. Here's a quote. My legs went straight out like those goats who faint when scared. I never came so fast and hard in my life. I squirted. I have never done that. But the fact that she references a fainting goat made me giggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do have there's the womanizer, the Satisfier, and I know we have the Satisfiers in the store, and I believe WeVibe has come up with an item that has a suction. I believe California Exotic Novelties has. I know we have something similar to that in the stores, and if not, and also on our online shops. I can tell you that right now. But
maybe I need to look into one.
Yeah, if you buy from our distributor or if you buy from the stores, most of these things have MAP pricing. They're from reputable, well-known vendors.
What would you don't know the name of what they would be? I'm thinking of stopping on my way home.
No, I'm saying these are the three. Those are the brand names. I don't know the actual name of the individual item because each of these companies have multiple items.
Well, there's somebody in this building who knows.
Yeah.
I will ask.
Yes. Yes. Tara will know.
I will. She'll go. Oh, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This is kind of fun. There's a sexual health specialist named Dr. Evan Goldstein, and he has created a unique fetish map of the U.S.
Okay.
So what he did...
Let me see. Because I've talked to different buyers, and I know what sells here versus what... And then, of course...
So you know there's truth to this.
And honestly, what sells in my Burnsville store is different than what sells in my Coon Rapids store.
Yeah.
And we had stores in... we have my brother has the stores in Jersey. What sells there is different than what sells here.
Interesting.
At one point, I had okay. What do we got?
Okay, okay. I got a laugh.
Now, you're talking about fetish or like movie types? Because people have done this for the types of movies that people search.
No, this is actual fetish. Okay, so there's over 40 popular fetishes in the U.S. and things that are commonly discussed in sex columns and things like that. Mm-hmm. So bondage, group sex. And bondage is Wyoming and group sex is Nebraska. Okay? And then impact play and yoni egg. Oklahoma likes impact play. That's like spanking. Mm-hmm. And the yoni egg is the Gwyneth Paltrow-inspired idea of putting eggs up there, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Texas likes whipping. It's rodeo roots. Let's see. The South likes masochism and suits. The Midwest is more interested in team games, group sex, and sports gear. Masochism was by far the most common, and we think that's really. So we'll put the article up so that you can check it out.
There's a lot of bondage, a lot of spanking, a lot of that. They've broken it down into different things.
Yeah,
but folks really do have, and like I said, I've never liked that the S&M has sort of been combined with the bondage and domination. These are really separate things, but people keep putting them together. Very different.
Yeah.
But the being tied up, bondage, stuff like that, it does not. That particular genre of products is we can just bring in new stuff all the time, and people love it.
Yeah,
I was going through there.
Yeah, I know it's weird because there's a term that's widely used now, BDSM, an acronym, and like I might be mildly intrigued with dabbling in the B and the D, but S&M not so much.
No, that's not,
scary for me.
I mean, that's a whole. It's folks that. And the thing is, there's a lot in those things. Is the person who is receiving is generally the one that has the power. If things are going through there, they're the ones with the safe words. There's a lot going on there. What you tend to see in. I was flipping through because I was just curious about. We started selling a lot more wands than we used to, a particular type, and I was trying to figure out why. So I was on a porn website, and I noticed that there was a lot of women being tied up, and then like the wand vibrators being used at the time, or like, and then people like walking away and like forced orgasm and stuff like that. And so you see a lot of this stuff on. In sometimes being filmed, but I don't see it in the stores where people are buying it. It's a much more this stuff. And then I realized that when I was watching these clips that they interview the couples beforehand. They talk about, a lot of it's I'm interviewing, okay, this is the scene we're going to do. What are your safe words? What's going on? Okay. And so there's a lot of, that shows that there's a lot of that goes on beforehand, but it's not, but sometimes what you see in the movie, it's like anything. It's like, anal sex, you just don't stick your dick in someone's ass. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of work that starts before that and a lot of loop.
Oh, for sure. I'm sorry. I'm giggling because the term safe word, it's an important thing. Mm-hmm. But there's so many times when I've used that in other situations that had nothing to do with sex and it's been quite amusing. Speaking of like fetish stuff, I have something happened on Sunday. So my husband and I he knew he was in for a 12-hour day on Monday. So he got real committed to a Sunday fun day because he knew that he was dreading Monday, okay? So we're out and we were playing darts, and I was being the straight man because I was going to drive. Mm-hmm. And I generally, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I generally just beat him in darts. Just the shit out of him.
Dart is your thing. You can do this.
I can do this. And blessedly though, I wanted him to get better because I wanted him to keep wanting to play. I like to play.
Yeah. I mean, you the competition, I mean, if you're always winning.
Right. And
what is the point?
And the thing is though, I mean, we have kind of an unspoken agreement that letting him win was not appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Either. That's condescending. So I'm thrilled. Our games are getting way better, but
practice.
Well, and he's a big, tall, lanky guy, and sometimes he just has these wild throws, and it's hilarious because people have to duck. I mean, it's funny. Mm-hmm. So we're playing, and he went to get another beer, and I'm standing there at our table minding the dartboard, and I'm kind of thinking and looking at the board. I don't know, and I'm like, where the hell is he? Because it's not a huge place, and I turn around, and he's talking to this couple. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. So then I'm kind of minding my business, and he's like, Kelly, and so he waves me over. Okay. Long story short, within 30 seconds, I was my antennas and my spidey sense was going whoop, whoop, whoop. There was something I did not like about this man. Probably because, I mean, there was like 15 things to choose from, but he starts out by saying, I said, hi. And Carl goes, yeah, he waved me over here to tell me how bad I am at darts. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. I said, well, he's getting better. And, he can be a little inconsistent. He's like, well, haven't you shown him how to blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, I kind of let him, whatever. And he's like, well, I'm a natural athlete. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, now I think I'm going to puke. And I said, well, good for you. Come on, Carl. We said we were going to finish this game and go home. Whatever. Okay. So we get back. Okay. I'm like, what a dick. Okay. So then I go back over, and he was a pudgy 60-something asshole. Okay. So we get back over, we're playing darts. And then a few minutes later, I shouldn't have let him. Carl goes to get another beer, and he gets sucked into this conversation again. Okay. Now I'm hearing, I have to go, they're like, Kelly, and I come over, and somehow within 30 more seconds, I'm hearing how many businesses they own. He's pointing at his wife's ring. Well, this was how poor we were. This was her first diamond. This was the second one, but look at this one. And I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, good for you. Like, I so totally don't care. And I don't know what Carl said, but then he makes this kind of remark, well, I bet you're good at everything to me. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, you know what? Greta's in the car, our dog. She's cold. We're out of here. So I just scrape him up. Okay, so they're telling us, first he's a natural athlete. Now he's rich. Now he's like making kind of a lewd thing, which if my husband hadn't been so, shall I say, festive, he might have hauled off and smacked him because he's done it before. And I'm like, I finally get him out of there. And I'm like, that guy creeped me out so bad. And he's like, well, what?
Yeah, because he had beer goggles on. He just thought someone was,
Totally. And so he goes, well, what do you think? They were swingers? And I said, I don't know. Well,
it could just be that someone likes, their thing is they like to, he brags so that he can go home and get it up.
Maybe. But I'm like, swingers are one thing, but I've met swingers and they aren't creepy necessarily.
No, they're not.
And
you don't randomly pick people up. It's not how
that's not how this works. But
no, there's a lot of conversation and talking and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I'm driving us back to the house, and he admits that they exchanged phone numbers, and I'm like, what? I get home, I put him in bed, I look at the phone, and he had texted him a link to something, and I'm like, oh my God, they're multi-level marketers. I was
oh my God. Did you block?
Oh, I deleted the text and I blocked the number.
So that's, yeah.
They were preying on drunk people.
So there's the angle.
Yeah.
But not sex, not booze, not rip you off, not anything.
Marketers.
Well, technically rip you off. It's multi-level marketers.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which terrify me way more than any swinger.
Any swinger.
Yeah. Or even bondage person for that matter. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had to tell you that story.
Oh, geez.
Okay. There's a 4-word seduction challenge, and I think this is really cute, and I think it's a game I'm going to try tonight. So there's a hashtag, and it's been trending on Twitter called "Seduce Someone in 4 Words." Okay. And people are sharing really funny shit. So, like a food chain, bakery chain named Greg's said, "Well, meet me at Greg's." Another one said, "Well, if you're into politics, I have Twitter verification." If you liked Friends. Hey, fancy some cheesecake? If you're a foodie, I'll buy you food. And so there's all sorts of different things. So sit there with your honey and see if you could come up with 4-word seduction lines that would actually work.
Let's see. 4 words. I don't know. Huh. Okay. Now
I know. I need to think about this, but
mine are a little bit longer. It's like,
you need a good editor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Many people have told me that when I'm writing. They're like, I gotta go back. I gotta go back through and go, oh yeah, that's too fucking wordy.
Well, I have an editor. She's great. So, I mean, in fact, now I can't live without one. It's a beautiful thing. This is fun. There's a business owner, 33-year-old Nikki Belton, who has the Naked Cleaning Company in the UK. And she started the business. She was she's been doing cleaning for years, and she said, I make like $35 an hour for this, and I decided that naked cleaning would be more profitable. She can charge.
So that's a British pound. Oh, okay.
No, it's already translated.
Oh, translated. Okay. She should be making more than that.
More than 35.
Yeah.
Well, she gets $98 an hour for straight topless cleaning. But if they want, full naked, that's $124. But she got trolled because she runs the business versus cleaning. So just to strike back or whatever, she offered to do 5 free cleanings herself. And I don't know how she chose the winners, but that was her response. She wants to branch out internationally, and she wants to.
I've heard that. Yeah, I think
that's awesome.
It's not the first time. So you hear about the stories, but you never hear about it. Like, are they still doing this 5-6 years later? To go through there, because I've heard about topless cleaning places here in the U.S. and different stuff. I know.
Yeah, and I'm
it's going through there, and I don't.
Usually, when I've had house cleaners, I want another one desperately.
Yeah,
but I leave when they're there, so I don't get it.
Yeah, it's going through there. I've cleaned in the nude, but I'm in my own house.
Well, but what's the use case? What's your target market? Because, like I said, when the house cleaner's coming, I get it ready and then I leave. I'm
assuming. I mean, generally, she didn't mention. When you talk about topless, you're probably not talking about topless men. So I'm sure it's topless women. So you're talking about, guys that like naked people cleaning and don't like to clean.
Okay.
But I'm not really sure. Yeah. I mean, and I had when my daughter was younger and things were going on, I had a cleaning service because it was nice to, like, she's at preschool and I'm at work, and then I come home and the house is clean.
Yep.
And I don't have to worry about her, because I have kept everything locked away and hide, all that sort of stuff, which is easier. But as she got older, I'm like, yeah, you can start cleaning.
Oh, my parents.
Yeah, I got rid of
how else do you learn to clean if you don't have cleaning chores?
When my daughter complained about some of her roommates and the cleaning, I just about fell over laughing because she is an absolute typical teenager. Her room is a fucking mess. When she has friends over, the downstairs is freaking trashed. So the fact that she was bitching about dishes left on the counter and not washed, because it's a small dorm apartment, and so there's not a lot of counter space. I busted a gut laughing. It was one of the best texts I ever got. I'm like, okay, she knows how to do this.
It's amazing.
I mean, in just a few short months, I'm like, okay, it was, all my nagging worked. She knows how to do things.
Aside from my romantic partners, I have had a roommate one time, and it was a disaster for that very reason. I couldn't stand the fact that every time I did anything in the kitchen, I left it clean. And every time she did it in the kitchen, she left it dirty. Yeah. And it's like, you know what? This is bullshit, man.
Yeah. You got to take care of your space. I mean, I when I was younger, I've never had, roommates or anything like that. Some friends would say, do you want to have well, first of all, my parents grew up and moved to New Jersey, and they didn't sell the house here. So I was just staying at the house. Mm-hmm. But when we finally all graduated, and I didn't want to share, I like living on my own. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just going through there, and I want things the way that I want them. And my friends have said, "Do you want to be, roommates?" And I'm like, "I want to stay your friend."
Yep.
We will not live together. I have friends now that were older that are starting a corporation because they want to buy a property and sort of make it their own private retirement home.
Oh,
so
fun.
If they need to hire a nurse or a cook or whatever they need to do.
That's really cool.
That's what they're looking.
Great idea.
That's what they're looking into. And I also said to them, I want to remain your friends. I mean, I'm a reserve right to change mind or things happen, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to be shelling out a crap tons of money for a senior living, why not have it be yours?
I think that's
a group. So I'm not sure where they are in the planning process, but I said no. I thank you for thinking of me, but I like things the way that I like things, and I'm really, really bad at groupthink. You know what I mean? I've had my house. I've had before that the townhome. I had an apartment for a short amount of time. I've got the business here. It's family run, but a lot of the times I'm the one that's here, so I make the decision. I don't think I would survive out in the real world where people have to have a lot of group meetings.
I was on the board.
My head would explode.
I was on the board of directors for a loft that I owned in a building in downtown Minneapolis, and I owned that place for, 14 years, I think it was, before I sold 12 years. But I was on the condo board for 5 years, and boy, I won't ever buy another condo where I have to deal with that kind of thing. And I never in my adult life, that was one of the bigger educations I've ever received about what idiots people are. Yeah,
or the sense of entitlement that folks can have about stuff.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Totally right.
I would, honestly, that's probably why I'd be really bad at swinging and group sex or anything like this, because I like things exactly what I want, and I don't want any, and I don't have to negotiate with anyone. One of the person's fine. Honestly, now that I think about it, we can just, I know me. I just, no.
You're very self-aware.
Yeah. I've known this since I was, I want things to go better.
Well, you know what? If more of us knew ourselves as well as you do, Colleen, the world would be a better place. And speaking of the world being a better place, I have a happy story to end on. It's one that you found.
Okay, which one was it? Because when I've been not sleeping at night, so who knows what shit I found and sent you that I don't remember. So it's like a surprise here. What do we got?
Trans women activist Marsha P. Johnson is being honored in Brooklyn, New York by Governor Andrew Cuomo. They named a park after her.
Oh,
she was
spectacular. Yes, she was one of the folks that was there at Stonewall. She was threw the punch.
Yeah,
started this shit and said no more.
Yep. Co-founder of what's considered the world's first trans organization, STAR, which stands for Street Transvestites Action Revolutionaries, with Sylvia Rivera. And she's a prominent figure icon for LGBTQ movement. And right after Stonewall, you're exactly right. So, there was a big celebration. And
last year was the 50th anniversary.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And they did, this is interesting too. This is kind of a sideline to this story. In his remarks, Cuomo also called for a repeal of New York State's ban on paying surrogate mothers, hoping that they can get guidelines in place that will be LGBTQ friendly. I did not realize they had a ban on that there. So he says, my goal, this is Cuomo speaking, my goal has been to make New York State the leading champion in the nation for the LGBTQ community, to be the state that ended discrimination and bias, intolerance, and judgmentalism against members of the LGBTQ community. So
that's spectacular. I mean, I saw the story. Yeah, I remember the story and I read a few paragraphs, but I did not go further into the article because
So that's kind of cool, huh?
Oh, I love that.
Congratulations. Very big congratulations. Well, you're not on vacation yet.
No, soon.
You're like 2 weeks out.
Yeah. So it'd be a blast because as we're sitting here and our phones are blowing up because that happens sometimes. My friends are sending pictures of their new bikinis, and I'm like blah 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 blah.
Do you have a new one, or do you just have?
I have 2 new ones. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have. One is actually polka. It's not teeny weeny, but it is a polka dot bikini.
What color?
It's black and white.
Okay, fun.
Yep.
Polka dots are classic.
Yep.
Good for you. Well, we will talk more about it as it draws near, but for now, we will sign off and see you next week.
See you next week, Kelly.